Good
morning.
morning. How you doing? Look at this. Nitin and I are back
Thank
in
you.
the saddle. How's everybody
What's
doing?
up, Bryce?
Nitin?
What's up, guys?
How's everybody doing? Timmy, good news. Yankees still have Jones and Dominguez. Will Warren. Let's hope that they keep Belly. Get
Timmy,
no
you gotta
Belly,
stop
no
it.
Tucker, no trade. Sell the team.
Oh, Timmy, you got to stop it selling the team. They're not selling the team at all.
Oh my God, forget it. Hi, Bryce. How you doing? T Road, how's it going? Charles, how are you? Nitin, you want to tell everybody who's going to be coming up in the next couple of minutes?
My team and I booked our good friend David Aardsma, former MLB pitcher, play for the Yankees. He'll be coming on this show soon. Guys, stay tuned. He'll be coming on here soon.
Yes, and also everyone, we do have another guest for Wednesday night at 7 p.m.
Our good friend Harry Carpet.
Yep, big sports reporter, Sirius Radio. We have Howie Carpin chiming in and talking about all Yankees. So get ready, everybody, because as you know, we're Yankees. So we're feeling good. We're looking good, and I have a feeling that we're hearing rumors of a potential trade that might be coming out.
Yeah.
I don't want to speculate, but all I can tell you is, guys, stay tuned.
Stay tuned. It'll be a good trade coming, hopefully. Soon.
Yep. Also on Jobber and the Mount tonight,
yes.
everyone.
So tonight,
go ahead.
Guys, this is gonna be fun. I'm laughing because this week is gonna be fun. I cannot wait. This is like what we dream of. So tonight on our Job in the Mouth show at 7:30, which will go live at 7:30, we're gonna have Connor Harris also, who will be joining Tuesday on this show at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. But Connor Harris will be joining our show first, the Job in the Mouth show. I think 8:45. And then yeah. So he'll be joining our Job in the Mouth show. He's a big fan of Jabba. He grew up watching Jabba, so he's excited to be on the show. But unfortunately, Jabba won't be on tonight because he has to. He's driving to Kansas, so Jabba won't be on the show tonight. But Connor Harris will be joining us. So,
well, he'll be doing a lot of dancing between tonight and tomorrow.
Yeah.
So he better take a chill pill. That's for sure. Really. Now Bryce is saying, Bryce, it's going to be more than that. So hold your hat. I don't want to speculate, but I can tell you some things are happening. And if everything falls into place, you're going to be very happy with the trade.
David said that David told us that he has to restart his computer. He'll be right on.
Oh, okay. Sounds good to me. He's charging that 100-mile-an-hour arm that he has. Nope. It's up to Nitin because it might be Nitin's story, not mine.
Guys, I have a great source.
That's right.
Okay, you know what? No, I don't want to say it.
No, because if it doesn't come through, we're going to look like banana heads. And then you're going to call us bozos.
No, we're going to end up playing for the Savannah Bananas.
Yeah. Dun, 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 dun.
But they want us to say something, though. I don't know. I feel bad.
Bryce, you want to know, then you know what to do. Text me.
Or message me, too.
Yeah. Email us, and we'll let you know. But we don't want, you're part of the show. I don't want to give false information and false hope to people. But if you really, really want to know, text or email joeyankees28@gmail.com. And as soon as I get off the show, I promise you.
Reach out to us also.
Yeah. And the same thing, if you want to reach out to Nitin, you're more than welcome. That's the best we can do. No, I understand. And that's why, we don't like to give false information. We have heard from certain people that a couple of things are in the works, but we don't want to. We just
all
don't.
All we can say is that Cashman and his team is working nonstop right now.
Yeah.
As we speak, and plus, some of my friends are there also covering the winter meeting, so I'll get updates from them. But as of now, as we speak, all I can say is um, Brian Cashman and his team are working nonstop. So stay tuned.
Yep. And T-Road saying, who's getting Fairbanks? Your guess is as good as ours. That I can tell you right now.
Bryce, I just got your message, so I'm messaging you right now.
Okay. I'm going to bring you down.
Wait, okay.
Our guest is here.
Wait, okay, all right. Bring me down then, yeah.
Okay. Whoa. I love this introduction. The greatest closer ever, Mr. David. I'm going to announce him by his first name. If he's the greatest closer, he doesn't need an introduction. Let's bring him up. How you doing, big guy?
I'm good. I apologize for being a little late, fellas. My computer, I had like 30 tabs open, and I realized like all I did was close my computer, and it sat all weekend. And you open it up, and it's running like the slowest thing ever. So I'm a little late.
No problem. What is it? 6 minutes? Give me a break.
It's 6 minutes too much. How are you doing?
Good. How you doing? Thank you for coming on NYYANKEE Mania. Really appreciate it. We appreciated. It was so cool that you did come to the New York Yankees. I do know that you had such a great pitch. You threw very hard. And tell us a little bit about. Well, first of all, before anything, how are you? How's your family? And how's your holidays going?
Well, I'm great. Thank you for asking. Family is wonderful. I have a 13-year-old and 15-year-old sons, and they are keeping me busy. 13-year-old is a quarterback and plays baseball, third base. And so I coach him in baseball, help him on the quarterback side with his arm and stuff. And
Nice.
So they're nonstop busy. My 15-year-old is a golfer and a tennis player and an engineer. So he's going to an engineering school.
God bless.
So it is incredibly busy. I was running around all morning with them. And then family's great, though. Wife is incredible. She's always killing it. And holidays are, they're the holidays. I got to say this. I was in the Bahamas for Thanksgiving. So that wasn't the worst thing.
Oh, my God. Look at you. Jesus. That's what happens when you're a major leaguer, former major leaguer, whatever. I mean, it's first of all, it's an honor to talk to you. Thank you so much for coming on. And, just wanted to basically, how did it all get started for you? And when did you think you could turn to whatever, mom, dad, grandparents, whatever, best friend, and say, you know what, I'm going to make it in the major leagues? How did that all come about in your mind?
Well, that's a great question. I will say this. I was never the kid that was all that great. I was never the all-star. I didn't make any Little League all-star teams. I wasn't the special one that was just dominating or anything. But I knew from a very early age I wanted to play baseball. Like, I knew it. Like, to my soul, I was going to play baseball, and I just knew it. So everything I did was with the idea, like, I'm going to be a Major League Baseball player. I'm going to do it, and they were kids. So, back then it was easy. I didn't have distractions like kids do nowadays. So, you want to go do something, you throw a tennis ball against the wall, and you put up a strike zone and you try to be Greg Maddux or Roger Clemens for the day. And you try to learn pitches as you're throwing a tennis ball or something against the wall. When everything kind of changed was my sophomore year in high school. Freshman year, I was horrible, or not. I don't want to say I was horrible. I wasn't good. But I still made the freshman B team as like the last player picked on the B team. And even the coach even told me that when he picked me. He said, I picked you last, but I think you're going to work really hard and you're going to have to if you're going to want to make the sophomore team. Ended up making the sophomore team, but I was a third baseman, left fielder. I was always taking pitching lessons, but I never really pitched. And I looked at the third baseman, and he was like 6 foot, broad shoulders, just a big dude, and a football player. I'm like, I'm never going to play ahead of this guy. And I went to a really, really competitive high school in Colorado, Cherry Creek High School. And so I think they were actually just named National High School of the Year for sports, and so it's pretty amazing. And so I'm looking at this kid. I'm like, I'm not going to play third base. I'm not going to beat this guy out. And I went to the coach. I said, I want to be a pitcher, pitcher only. And back then, no one did that. And so I was like, but I'm not going to play ahead of these guys. And he's like, yeah, let me talk to the head coach. And he said, no problem. And I just started becoming a pitcher my junior year. My mom and I had a kind of a conversation. My grades were horrible. And she said, there's only one way you're going to be getting to college, in all reality, only one way, and it's going to be through baseball. And, you're going to take this serious or not, or you got to change something. We got to take this incredibly serious, a lot more serious than I already was. And I was taking it serious, or we got to change something with the grades, or you're not going to go anywhere.
Exactly.
And I said, I'm going to play baseball. And so we took baseball to another level, and it became a job at that point. I loved it. I loved every single day of it, but it became a job. I made the varsity team my junior year. I wasn't any good. I only played 2 games. Only 2 games my entire junior year. And then senior year, everything clicked. Won state player of the year, all state, everything. Gatorade player of the year, draft aspirations, get a full ride scholarship to Penn State. That's when it clicked. Like that junior year was like, there was a real coming to like realization that something had to change. And you know what's weird? At the same time, all my grades went crazy. I went 4.0, 4.0 my senior year, and ended up like acing my SATs, and because I actually found a passion and I found a purpose versus just kind of loving it. And then I found like, no, love it with a purpose.
Now, what was in your estimation, your hardest pitch?
So when I was, there was like 3 moments in my career. I didn't try to make this fast. There's 4 moments in my career where I know like there were jumps. That junior year, I threw a ball, and I remember telling my parents, I'm like, that one pitch sounded different. It felt different, sounded different. They said that was 90. That was the first time I'd ever on a gun hit 90. And then when I got drafted, there was the very first game. So I got drafted by the Giants. I go to San Francisco. I'm doing the whole jersey thing. There was a reporter that actually was making fun of me for being skinny. It was hilarious. In front of the GM, in front of Brian Sabian and everybody, he goes, hey, we know he's supposed to be a hard thrower, but like, you're not a big guy. And I was tall, but I was skinny. I mean, I was like 180 pounds maybe.
Ryan, did you?
And the Brian Sabian goes, don't worry, you'll find out. And then my very first game, I sat at 98, 99, and I'd never done that. And I never it was just like fire. I loved every single time somebody told me I couldn't. It was just incredible. And then with the Cubs, I was in St. Louis, and I remember Pujols was at the plate, and I threw a ball, and that ball just was different. And it read 102 on the gun.
Wow, Dave, that's awesome.
Yeah. And then there was one other time, I would say this with the Red Sox. There was like 2 outings in a row against the Cardinals. I think I struck out all 6 batters I faced in those 2 outings, all on fastballs. And I don't know if I ever saw the radar gun go below 98. And it was just every single pitch. I mean, I think I threw. There was a point there where Veritek, all he did was go. He just said, that's all he did. He didn't give me a sign. Just goes and put a glove on. And then next pitch went. And that's like, I never seen confidence in a catcher like that in me, where he just said, dude, like, you're unhittable. Like, let's go.
I got to tell you, I followed the Yankees for a very long time. When we found out that, we had acquired you, we got you, I was like, oh, wow. I mean, I was really excited. And I just felt bad with the things that you was going through and all of that. But I was so looking forward, really, to see you in a Yankee uniform and perform for the New York Yankees. It must have been it would have been a great thrill for us, and we wanted to see a lot of you because I knew that ball that was going to be flying in there, and we were going to get the strikeouts, and I missed that, but I'm so happy that at least you got to put the pinstripes on a little bit, and see, And the first question we have from Kevin, he asks, what was it like to put on the pinstripes? And is it different like everybody else says?
I will say this. every team has their own kind of identity and their own culture.
Yes.
Every team has their own thing. Like, again, I played for almost every historic franchise there was in sports, right? From the San Francisco Giants to the LA Dodgers to the Cubs. I mean, White Sox, if you want to get back in the day, 1900s, and the history there, St. Louis, Boston, even Mets have their own unique history there, Atlanta. And then you get to the Yankees, and it's different. There is a different history there, and where the history is, and you feel it as a player. Nowhere else do they promote who has been there before you quite like the Yankees do. Like, you are in the house that Ruth built, right? You are in the house that like Mickey Mantle was. Like, you're walking in there. These same players wore the pinstripes, and I'm looking at Derek Jeter, Mariano, Andy Pettitte was there when I was there. A-Rod. For all the heck we want to give him, one of the greatest baseball players of all time. And he's got his things, but it's definitely different when they push those players on you, the championships, the history. There was without a doubt a different expectation, and they make it where they make it really clear is from the front office to the training staff to the people below you to the people below them there's an expectation of when you come here, this is work. You're a New York Yankee, we win, and that's what we do, and that's our business. Like, and if you're, and I'll never forget this. I love this one. Brian Cashman came into spring training. I was obviously in a different boat. I signed with the Yankees hurt. So I signed with the Yankees coming back from 2 injuries. And that's what a lot of people don't understand is it wasn't Tommy John. That was fine. Dude, that was like easy. I was totally fine with that. It was a major hip surgery that I was coming back from. And that's what was actually, that's where I wasn't the pitcher the Yankees were signing, because a lot of people underestimated how serious that hip surgery was. And in history of baseball, there really haven't been many players ever come back from it. And so that's where the seriousness was. But you walk into spring training, my job's fine. They signed me knowing I'm not going to play until July, September. Anywhere in between there was where I was going to play. So I'm not going to go get fired. Like, come on, you're paying me league minimum and with a bunch of incentives. You're not getting rid of me. And I'm hurt. What are you going to do? I'm taking up a 60-man roster spot. But we came into spring training, and I'm sitting there, and there'd been rumors, just like there is every Yankee spring training. But back then it was a little bit more because of the ownership and pressure of like constant win and constant improvement. Plus, like, you're looking at that roster and going like, superstars everywhere. We better win. And there's rumors about like what we're going to do, who's going to make the team. And the players were starting to talk just enough. Not, it's the Yankees. They don't ever really talk, but just enough. And so Cashman came in the locker room and got a big team meeting happening, which never happens, right? And Cashman says, my job is to make the New York Yankees the best team possible. Your job is to put yourself in a position to play Major League Baseball as best as you can possibly. My job is to evaluate whether you should play for us or whether you should play for one of the other 29 teams. And I can then make our roster better by using that. He goes, don't confuse my job with your job. My job is to evaluate and to look at this roster and say, how do I put the most wins together? Your job is to play Major League Baseball. It doesn't have to be for us. You're playing for 30 teams every single day. Play as well as you can. And while you're wearing the pinstripes, respect the pinstripes and love the pinstripes. But if like you go somewhere else, go make your money, go earn it, go do it. But my job is to put the New York Yankees together. Your job is to play as well as you can for yourself. While you're a Yankee, you're a Yankee. And it was like, kind of blew my mind when like everybody's butthole went tight. And
David, you actually came on at the right time, because Cashman has been getting pummeled by Yankee fans that he's lost his edge and this and that. And I sometimes I get frustrated because you see them, they don't act, they like sit back and they let this play out. And that's where the fans get mad. So when you get somebody like yourself, you're basically saying that he has all his oars in the water. He's got the right method. And do you still think that he does?
I would say this: when I was there, 2000, and that would have been 12,
12,
and 2012, I had basically a 2-year contract. Essentially, they picked up my option, 12 and 13 in spring training, but the roster was a little stronger then. Man for man, the 25 that were going to step on that field was a little bit more of like the 25 dudes, like no matter what, right? Aaron Judge and when you look at Jeter, like Judge is an incredible baseball player, but you know who Jeter was going to be day in, day out, playoff game, playoff out. Nothing against Judge, but like, dude, you're talking about one of the greatest of all time, right? Like, and you're talking about Posada behind the plate, and you're talking about, you got one of the greatest players at A-Rod at third base, and then you're looking across the diamond, and it's just dude after dude after dude. Like, so it's a little different roster, right? Where the Major League Baseball's changed a little bit, where it shifted in different ways, and ownership, especially with the Yankees, has changed since I was there. Like, there is a different ownership momentum and feel and accountability, where I think Brian Cashman is dealing with an ownership group that's not going to go out there and say, just throw money and throw money and throw money and throw money and get rid of a player the moment he's not any good, and get rid of this guy and eat the money. So he's dealing with a lot of different issues. And I think it's the Yankees used to be, they were never the team that sat back and waited for players to sign. They moved the market, and the market moved where the Yankees moved.
Yes.
Now the market has shifted so much where it's almost benefited the team that waits and waits and waits and then goes and gets everybody, and where you kind of see that with everybody signing. Everybody's waiting on these signings, where in the past, dudes would have already been signed right now, like some big contracts, big boy contracts, and not the medium players. The Yankees would have already gone out and gotten the center fielder of the future, would have already gotten a third base, like it would have already happened, and not, all right, let's see the market play out. It's no, this is the number and we're sticking to it. You sign now or you don't sign with us. Where they used to have that type of just punch, and now they don't. And now everybody waits.
Yeah, no, but like I said, actually, we've heard 2 very, very good interviews with Cashman yesterday, one on MLB Network and one on the Yes Network. And we're very optimistic. They are working very hard to change the narrative of the team, because they're too lefty. They strike out too much, and they need more athletic players. That's my perspective. I mean, I've seen the 70s, I've seen the 80s, I've seen the 90s, the 2000s, and sometimes we call them out on it, because you got the names, but where are they going with these names? But they're not that far away. That's the thing that you say, well, wow, we need a left field, you need a first baseman. Try to get him. What is it? You have a $325 million payroll. Is another $3 million going to kill you? I mean, this is a fan to fan. That's what I'm saying. I mean, but you've seen it firsthand, and I think my question to you is, you feel, in your opinion, that Brian Cashman is very good at what he does, at the narrative of what you've seen.
I think he's extremely good at what he does. Obviously, when you look back at the history of over the last 20 years, you can't argue with that. The Yankees have not been in a position to be very successful. There's a reason the Yankees are still consistently playoff, if not World Series odds-on favorites. Yes, they might not have had the rings since that they had before, but outside of the Dodgers and this little run and the Astros, no one else has. And Astros had built a team from inside very, very well. A lot of the prospects that the Yankees have developed haven't quite turned out right the way they wanted to, and with some other teams they have. And that's always the hard part. Is we used to always look at the Yankees and say, all right, they're going to go buy everybody. Well, no, they were buying pieces. They had the core. They always had a core that was brought up through Yankeedom or traded early enough where they were a Yankee, basically. And right now, outside of a few guys, right, outside of Judge, outside of Cam Schlittler, and maybe Luis Heel if he's healthy, a lot of these guys and the core players were not really Yankee guys. Like Trent Grisham, great player, but like there's more out there. There's a lot more out there. Ben Rice, love him, came up through the Yankee system, but you're talking about first base in the American League East, dude. You better be putting up 35 every year. Like, just wake up and put up 35. And if you're not putting up 35, what are you doing? You know, like, can we get a Giancarlo Stanton to be healthy every year? No. And so you're dealing with like a roster dynamic where you don't even know New York Yankees, is Caballero going to be your shortstop? Right. Is he a shortstop that actually makes waves? Is an Austin Wells going to continue with what he did? Are you looking at Jazz Chisholm and saying, like, is that Jazz Chisholm or is that 1 year? Jason Dominguez, is he going to be the super prospect or is he actually going to be a Major League Baseball player? And so there's a lot of dynamic, there's a lot of issue that he's dealing with, and he has also already spent a whole lot of money. Where I think a lot of times when you're getting really close as a fan of a team, you get so close to it and you start throwing out trade ideas or like, we can move this guy, move this and this. And the rest of the market goes like, no, like, what are we going to do for Jason Dominguez? What is really going to be the trade? Like, yeah. Does anybody else really believe in Jason Dominguez outside of Yankees people? I don't know. And so it's hard to be Brian Cashman and saying like, all right, well, you're not going to get the prospect, so might as well find out what Jason Dominguez does. Or you're not going to get, how do you trade for a major league shortstop? Like, who trades their shortstop? Nobody. And so I think he's in a tough spot. I would say this. I don't think Aaron Boone's the guy anymore. And I don't, when you see Aaron Boone do interviews and doing stuff, it looked like he had hit the edge last year. It looked like he was done mentally, just fatigued. It doesn't mean he's not a good manager, and I know that he gets a lot of heck, but I just thought fatigue-wise he was done. And that's the move. If I'm Brian Cashman, that was the move I would have made. Was go out like, all right, there was a lot of this free agent market from a manager standpoint. There's a lot of great managers available. There's a lot of guys that could have been very, very good fits, and they're sticking with Booney. And that's the only move I would have made if I was Brian Cashman. I think he's probably a little too close to that to see it for what it is.
Well, he does have the 1 year left, and then that's it. His contract's up. And many people believe it's not going to be renewed, win, lose, or draw.
I can't imagine it, but I didn't think he would be bringing him back this year. I thought they would have just eaten it and gone out and gotten the manager of the future, the manager that would come in and make and like shake it up a little bit. And that's when you see interviews, and I love Booney. I used to work out with him. No, I've got nothing against Aaron Boone. It's just when you watch him and you watch him speak to the media afterwards, you can tell when somebody's just kind of done. They're frustrated. They're hearing the same question every single day. They're getting exhausted with the answer, having to give the same answer. And there's a different energy. And at a clubhouse, you feel that. You feel when your manager is just exhausted. And 90% of the questions are because you guys are making them ask the question because you're not playing good baseball or you're not like one area of baseball is not good. You just looked exhausted. And that's where I was like, Derek Shelton. I would have loved to have seen Derek Shelton go in there. I think Derek Shelton would have been amazing. I think he got a bad roll of the dice in Pittsburgh. It's treated like, but he had created actually some times in Pittsburgh with a team that was incredibly below average, a well above average team. Now imagine what he could do with a good team, or go out and get, another Yankee guy and get somebody with some energy to come back in and revitalize that team. That's where I think more than anything, they need somebody to come in and with that energy that Boone used to have when he first took the job. That energy, they need that right now. And if he can rekindle that, I think it's going to be perfect. But there's a difference between rekindling it amongst the locker room and rekindling it when you have to go face the same question every single day before and after a game. Well,
I mean, the frustration, too, is does he really manage 100%? Is it analytics? Is it, the Yankees keep saying they're the least out of any team in the American League East. And we're not buying. A lot of people don't buy it because they feel that Boone can't have the luxury of managing 100% in a game. Will we ever know? Who knows? Only Boone knows, Cashman knows, and Steinbrenner knows, as far as we're concerned, unless somebody leaks it out. But that's the big question about, is Boone really managing? Now, we've had some guests like yourself that said there's no way he's managing all the way, and they came out and they said it, and I gave them the thing. I said, you don't have to say it. You could do a smile or something, but they actually came out and they said that if you think that Boone is managing this whole team, well, you got another thing coming.
There's no way. It's 2025. There's not a manager in Major League Baseball once Bruce Bochy left that's managing the whole team. Like that, just like up and down, showing up and running up his lineup, and what he feels and running his bullpen the way you want. It doesn't even work like that from a introductory standpoint anymore. It's nothing against Boone. It's nothing against Cashman. It's nothing against Major League Baseball. It's just the day in, day out conversations are never like that and will never be like that again. There's so much data that goes into it. Even if you're the least data driven team, the amount of data that is driven into decisions of as far as like, okay, and let's break it down like this. We are the manager. I'm the manager. You're the pitching coach, and we got the hitting coach, whatever. We're sitting down for our series against the Rays. All right. Here's our starting rotation. That's pretty easy. But then the data is our starting rotation versus their lineup, their projected lineup, and when is the break point? When does the numbers flip, and when do they change? And we know that with each pitching. Garrett Cole's going to be in the 7th inning. Versus a Will Warren's going to be a little earlier, or Max Fried might be the 6 and 2/3. That's the break point. Now, all right, if that's the break point, who's our first guy up against this part of the lineup? Who's our first guy up against this part of the lineup? And that's all driven through data. That's all driven because of just it's plain numbers. David Bednar has better numbers against these guys. Duvall has better numbers against these guys. You're going to look at who else is going to be on and Yarborough has better numbers against these guys. That's all data driven. That's no longer feel. That's no longer, well, Duvall's pitching really well. I like him. No, it's the numbers, because the numbers now are not really lying. And they're like, all right, in this situation against this catcher, this part of the lineup can steal, this part of the lineup can't. Well, against this catcher, this part of the lineup steals. Well, if this pitcher lineup, all those numbers, no manager or front office even, no manager has control of that. They already know all this stuff. So manager-driven decisions will no longer be a part of it, because before the game, so much of this is already mapped out with the help of analytics.
Right.
That you get in a game and no longer is manager sitting back, spitting chew and going, you know what, I'm feeling Hill today. Let's get Hill in there. It's not reality. It'll never be reality again. So when they can say, hey, it's Boone's decision. It is Boone's decision. It is. But his decision has already been made as a group before the game.
Yeah.
That is what's already happened.
A pile of paper like this, people don't realize it. That's but great insight. I really appreciate it, David. Some questions that they're dying to ask. If you don't mind, what was your favorite moment in baseball?
Ooh, me playing baseball, my favorite moment, winning the College World Series was absolutely incredible. Just the process going through that, losing the College World Series on a walk-off home run the year before, winning it the next year. My Major League debut was obviously something always special, especially facing now a new Hall of Famer. I faced Biggio was the first batter I faced, Bagwell, Berkman, now Jeff Kent, Richard Hidalgo back in the day in that lineup, one of the best lineups in Major League Baseball, 2000s. That was my first debut against Craig Biggio. Was my first batter I ever faced. Pretty cool. Bagwell's the second batter. Kent was I forgot what it was, maybe the fourth batter. Berkman should have been a Hall of Famer, I think, or borderline Hall of Famer, right? So I almost faced 4 Hall of Famers in my first outing.
Oh man,
that was incredible. 2009 with the Seattle Mariners. knowing the team lost 110 games or 105 games a year before, and we had won like 87, and just kind of revitalized the Seattle and baseball, and Griffey's comeback, to the team. And so that last game, being on the mound for the last pitch, striking out, I think I struck out Michael Young on the very last pitch of the season. Like, it sounds so, as a Yankee guy, it's probably like, oh, whatever. Like, you guys didn't make the playoffs. Why would you care? But there's a difference between a city that hadn't felt that in a long time, and finally, like, we're kind of back. We might be back. And then, like, teams after that started getting better and better and better and better and better every single year. And so it was a really neat moment.
David, who was your favorite team to play for?
Favorite team? I apologize. I know I'm the Yankees.
No, you can tell the truth.
I got to say this. I wasn't a Yankee long enough to be able to respect whether and evaluate it the same way. I played for 14 teams. I think 8 in the big leagues. Yankees being one of them. So I always have that. But the Boston Red Sox at the time, Larry Lucchino, that front office with Tito as the manager.
Great guy.
The entire front office has basically become GMs of other teams. The entire coaching staff was incredible, like gold standard coaching staff. Won the World Series in 2007. I was there in 2008. It was the Yankees as far as we're here to win, but it was a little bit different because it was like, we're here to win. We're okay with attitude. We're here to win, but we are one group of family. Also, it's like you're in Fenway Park. It's not new Yankee Stadium. So like things were broken down. Things weren't right. Like the locker room's kind of messed up. Like everything's a little pieced together, but it's like we didn't have heaters in the bullpen. So as a bullpen, we went to Larry Lucchino and said, hey, we would like heaters in the bullpen. He said, go out and have a great series on a road trip. And he goes, come back. If you guys kill it, you'll have heaters. If you don't, you don't. And I loved it. And it was like, all right, like perfect. You've never seen a more motivated bullpen in your life. And we went out, and I don't know if we gave up a run like in the entire road trip.
That's awesome. We
come back, we have state-of-the-art heaters as a team. And I know they got crap for it later on. But as a team, we wanted an ice cream machine. How stupid this is. We're kids. We're kids in a lot.
Of course, kids at heart. Of course.
We wanted an ice cream machine. And they literally, I remember having a team meeting, and Larry Lucchino comes in and he goes, go have a great road trip, fellas. And we went out, and we just whooped ass. I mean, walked in the ballpark and just knew you're going to kick their ass. And we come back, we got like the biggest, baddest ice cream machine. And I never felt like that where Tito was really like, hey, it is family. We're here to win. But if you win, we'll treat you like kings. But he goes, if you lose that edge and you guys aren't like, losing is one thing, losing without effort is another. If you start showing us that, he goes, you won't be a part of this. And this is special. You either want to be a part of it or don't. And like, all right. So that was cool. 2009 with the Mariners, as far as a group, I'd never been part of a closer team. Like you fly out somewhere, 25 guys are going to dinner. Never like that. I've never seen anything like that. Like even if the starters were going to go one way and the hitters were going to go one way and the bullpen was going to go another way, we would all end up at the same place. Or like usually you find your little knit a group of couple guys, or like somebody has their family in town. Like you kind of go out in a couple guys. Like the Yankees, we all went. Bullpen went out one time. That was cool. It was like that every night. And the wives. This is the weird thing. The wives loved each other. That never happens.
Wow.
The 25 wives loved each other. And so like we get back from road trips, we're 25 deep at a restaurant. Like with wives, with kids. And it was never been like that. I've never seen like that. The Yankees were different. The Yankees were business. So, and like people say, like it's 25 players and you go 25 different ways. It felt like that. And it did feel like that with the Yankees. But then you come back and you're in the locker room, you're like, it's time to win. And I also say this, I've never been to a place that had nicer everything. Everything with the Yankees was better.
Yeah.
Like locker room was better. Food was better. Weight room was better. Everything was like perfect, but it's almost like it was too perfect to where it's like you want it to be like you want to have to earn it a little bit. Everything was kind of given to you a little so much, but the Yankees were also on the cutting edge of teams nowadays where everything's kind of given to the players.
No, you're right. Now I'm pretty sure I know the answer to this, but Wendy asks, David, who is your favorite manager?
Well, obviously Tito was incredible. I really do like Joe Girardi when I was there, and I respected Joe like incredibly. Well, I love Don Wakamatsu. He got kind of a hard rap for Seattle times. Trying to think, like Dusty Baker was awesome. Dusty Baker, looking back, was great. I just don't think it was the best fit in in Chicago at the time. I had Mattingly when I was with the Dodgers, but I didn't really have him too long. So I would definitely say I gotta say it's Tito. I mean, if the Yankees could have Tito, you would understand like how amazing he was. Like,
I know. I mean, you could just
God.
see the type of guy he is, and all of that. I mean, he would be a really good manager here for the New York Yankees, no question in my mind.
Yes, and it would have been like you see what he did in Cincinnati, first year there on a team that had no hope, and then all of a sudden everybody loves him, and you're like, yeah, there's a reason why, and I think it would have been amazing in New York. I think he would have been. You'd be just talking about champions after champions.
It'd be kind of hard to stomach for Red Sox fans because you'd have Tito, Francona being the world champion coach with the Red Sox, and then he's going, just sort of like Johnny Damon going over there.
Isn't that the natural progression though? You go from Boston to New York, it's the progression. They develop them, get them to a point. Now, then the Yankees take them.
Well, now it's the Yankee guys going over to the Mets. Everybody goes over to the Mets or the Yankees. Matter of fact, there's a life-size doll that has the Met doll in the Yankee uniform, saying, this is our new look. It's all Yankees. I mean, I thought I saw the list. There's like 23 since Cohen took over. I think there's 23 or 25 ex-Yankees, one way or the other on there. So that's sort of like wow.
Yeah, that's a ton. As Yankee fans, how do you guys feel about Stephen Cohen?
Well, here's the thing, and I'm hearing fans go, "Oh, you guys are losing your touch because everybody comes to the Mets." Well, I say, okay, let's analyze something here. First of all, Devin Williams was not offered a contract, not at all, and that was proven by Cashman again last night. So they inquired, but there was no contract offer at all. So now the Soto thing, and David, I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't care what the Yankees were going to offer. Cohen was going to offer more on any level. If the Yankees offered $1 billion, he's $1.5 billion. If the Yankees offered $2 billion, he's $2.5 billion. This is what the people, the Yankees got cheap. How did they get cheap if reportedly they offered 65? Come on, yeah. David, how much is too much?
Well, and it's also you start hearing the back end stuff like the sweets or stuff like that, like all of the other sweeteners that Steve Cohen can, because they have that a little bit more wiggle room there, or stuff like that, where the Yankees might be locked into agreements with a lot of other people that they don't have that quite wiggle room, and there's also some integrity of, come on, like you need that and that and that and that. We're already giving you the money to pay for all of it. The Yankees are not. Yankees are not cheap. They've gone out and spent. It's just sometimes like that money gets spent in some ways, and you're just like, dang, it didn't work. Like, what do we do? And you just got to kind of bite your teeth a little bit and suck it up in today's game.
Look, they didn't give it to Mariano Rivera, this sweets. They didn't give it to Derek Jeter. Where does this guy come off and say, well, I want a suite, I want this, I want that? to me, David, the bottom line was the family wanted him to be a Met. And that's it. There was that, I mean, if that's a cop-out, I don't know. But I do believe that the family has a lot to do with it, where I'm hoping, because I like Cody Bellinger, honestly, as a person, as a, I was following his dad. Actually, I interviewed his dad a few times. And I know that family wants him to be a Yankee. But, I'm just saying, like, families have a lot to do with this. And I deep down think Soto really wanted to stay with the Yanks. I really do. But I think in my opinion, his mom and dad had a big influence, and, and $835 million will influence you a little bit.
Yes.
But, what I wanted to ask you is take us through, like, okay, so you played a season, let's say, and now you're getting into the winter meetings. Is there always jitters that that a player is going to be traded? How do you go through that and were you ever at the winter meetings?
Okay, so I'll say this before we get to that. Was with Soto, Cohen was going to offer more no matter what.
Right.
Cohen was going to talk, Cohen's big talk was about the minor leagues and the process going through and getting more players up, and the big thing Soto always said was, like, what's the next 10 years look like versus now. I'm still amazed that Soto didn't take the money in New York. With the Yankees. I thought that was a perfect fit from a numbers standpoint as far as his production. There's a different marketing thing when you're wearing the pinstripes, and you're going to make more money. It's like what you're finding out with the Dodgers. There's opportunities there that are just different. It is just different. Maybe it's a little bit more grassroots with the Mets, and you can make more in some ways. Okay. I would always say this: the mindset of, and this is nothing against you, it's easy to think this. Jeter didn't get it. Posada didn't get it. Cano didn't get it. As far as a suite or whatever. When somebody else is offering it, that is the market value. That is what should be offered. And if you're not willing to go to that place, and this is sometimes the trap that Yankees get into, is we had Jeter, we had Cano, we had Robinson Cano, we had Mariano, you go down the list. Hall of Famer after Hall of Famer. They didn't get that. Why are you different? Well, if I'm Juan Soto, I go, well, motherfucker, you want me. You want me. You're telling me I'm different. I'm different than the whole rest of the market. You're coming after me with $734 million, whatever it is, just numbers.
Probably more.
But you're coming to me and telling me Jeter didn't have this, so I don't get it. No. Like, I had nothing to do with it. It's they're offering this, and you're not willing to offer that. That means I'm not special enough for you. That's the way. That's just marketing. That's just the way it is. Right. It's playing on the brand and saying our brand means more than the Mets brand, and the Mets are saying, yeah, but we'll give you $50 million more and make your life easier. That's the thing. Remember, it's not about the family wants necessarily team more and more. What the player also wants is to be able to go home with a wife who's smiling and happy and said, I had a great experience at the ballpark today. And you go, yes, I don't have to worry about that. That's awesome. I want my family to be in a position that's the happiest ever every single day of my life as well. Happy wife, happy family, happy, but not happy wife, happy life. Happy wife, happy family, happy environment, happy culture at home equals happy ball player at the field.
Yes.
Angry wife about baseball game creates just a process error in the middle where you're dealing with frustration that she couldn't get her seats. She had to deal with having to go with other fans or having to go with other things that you don't have to deal with the Mets. And you're like, all right, well, this is easier. My life became easier, and I can focus on the field because my wife is very happy. I can now relax about that. And it's stuff like that sometimes when you have so many legends, you can get caught up in, where the Mets are like, we don't care, we want you. What is it going to take? And so that's what it is. But it's nothing against the Yankees. I mean, again,
I don't blame Hal Steinbrenner one iota. I don't blame Cashman on any of that. It just was the luck of the draw. It was 1 year ago to yesterday that it happened. And then like a day like today, the Yankees had signed Max Fried, and they started, we don't know if they would have done all that if they would have gotten Soto. They would have went 5 and dime with everything else. So I in a way, I think it worked out for both teams. And hey, the Mets still have him for another 12 years. So I mean, it's absolutely insane. But hey, it is what it is. This is the way baseball is. Another question that they like to ask, and I don't mean to be taking up so much of your time, but the interview is fantastic, at least on my end for sure. I wanted to ask you, do you think we're going to see a stoppage next year?
Okay. Do I think we're going to see a stoppage? Unfortunately, I do think we're going to see a stoppage. I don't think we're going to see it affect games and affect like the season.
Okay.
There's a hard argument to be said that the team spending the most, obviously always pulls the most when you're constantly having these teams that are spending like middle to low, having real opportunities, right, and making playoff games and making pushes. You're seeing the Seattle Mariners, who are not a top 3 spending team, make a serious run. Mm-hmm. You're seeing the Reds make the playoffs. You're seeing Milwaukee make a serious run and very close to getting to, if not winning a World Series. The Guardians. I think we're going to see a stoppage, but without affecting games. But again, who knows? It's always about this. Always comes down to is where are the owners at? How strong are those little groups? Because amongst 30 owners, there are maybe 5 different groups, if not maybe 3, of what they want. There's always a group that wants to spend less, a group that wants to spend, be able to spend more, a group that just wants baseball to keep rolling and making money. And it is the owner's jobs and the commissioner's job and the lead negotiator, if it's not the commissioner, to navigate those groups. And that's what you see with Rob Manfred. The reason Rob Manfred is the commissioner, because he was the head negotiator. He was the guy that could navigate those groups of owners and get a consensus and get just the right guy to convince their little group and the right guy here to convince their group to all meet in the middle. The union's job is to let the owners get out of their own way, is to help the negotiator. The union isn't to fight the owners. The union is to get the owners to get out of their way. Right? Because in all reality, it's there's only one thing it's going to come down to is a cap. That's all it's ever really going to come down to is a cap. And
do you see one?
No. Nope. It's just the union's too hard on it, and Major League Baseball doesn't need it. Where a lot of fans get confused is we think a salary cap is going to help the league because the NFL and the NBA have screamed at you that it's helped. Who's screaming at you? The owners of the league is screaming, this has helped. It's so good. We all can play for everybody. And there's this cap and it's going to cap ticket prices and do all this stuff. Ticket prices in the NBA and the NFL have gone up higher than they have in Major League Baseball. And the amount of different teams winning the Super Bowl or winning the NBA title have actually decreased. Because those players aren't going anywhere. It's less of a free market. And so when you have the free market, Major League Baseball has had the most different World Series champions, the most different playoff teams than any other sport, with the least amount of teams in the playoffs.
Right.
So per team, per playoff spot, we've had by far the most. And we sit back and complain that the Dodgers are the most amazing team in the world. Yes, they won a couple, and they almost didn't win it this year. In all reality, they were very close to not winning it, and they were very close to not winning it last year too. And the Milwaukee Brewers come out of nowhere and can give them some hell of a games.
Yep.
So don't get confused on what they're trying to tell you, but go look at the numbers and see how many different playoff teams, and think about how many times your team has made the playoffs. And outside of a couple teams, 2, in all reality in baseball, they're the only ones that can say we haven't really done it in a long time, and that's Rockies and probably Marlins. That's
and
it.
The A's.
But the A's, you look back at the A's, like, let's run the numbers on the A's. And actually, you look back, we always think the A's aren't making the playoffs. No, the A's don't make the playoffs for 3 years. And then the A's make a 2-year, 3-year run of playoff, and then they have to sell their players again. It's consistent. Like, look back, like they were 2020, they were one of the best records in the league, and I get it, it's 2020. But like 2021, they were a good team. 2019 or something like that, they were a great team.
Yeah,
you're right. They're a lot better of playoff history than what we think they are. And like in the last 20 years, they've made the playoffs something like 10 times. And so, or something crazy like that. Again, I'm just throwing numbers out there. To answer the other question, I've never gone to winter meetings as a player purposely. I showed up one time without knowing it on my honeymoon. I walked out of the hotel, walked out of the elevator, and went, "Oh, what is that? I know everybody. What is this?" And then I didn't realize it was the winter meetings.
That's funny.
I had nothing to do with it. But I've gone to the winter meetings with the Toronto Blue Jays in the front office. And did experience it from a front office standpoint.
You have another question from Teresa, and she asks, any aspirations of coming back as a coach or anything down the line?
Well, okay, so I took the 3 years with the Toronto Blue Jays. I was in the front office. I ran their pitching department along with the pitching coordinator. So I ran all the minor leagues. A lot of my job was to look at the Blue Jays and think from a 5-year, 10-year plan. Like, how do we get them moving forward from a minor league pitching standpoint, bring in data. How do we use high-speed cameras? How do we use like a Rapsodo? How do we use a TrackMan to better our players? How do we teach coaches this information? How do we integrate all like everything from a health standpoint, a medical standpoint, a strength standpoint, a nutrition standpoint? How do we integrate all that with the pitching department? And so that's what I did, along with a lot of hiring, firing, releasing, signing, and recruiting, drafting. Like, I was involved a lot with that, and so I had a lot to do with that. Left during COVID and came home and started a pitching business here at my house. I've had definite interest from teams. I would say this: I love Major League Baseball. I want to be back a part of it, but I want to be part of it for the right position, for the right opportunity. I would love to be part of Major League Baseball again. The going to a AA team and sitting in AA, maybe that's not like what fires me up.
Exactly.
But a coordinator position or major league position, absolutely. And I loved every minute of it. And I would do it again for the right job. It was just really hard on my family and me living in Arizona. And then I was working out of Clearwater, Florida, or Dunedin, Florida. So I was living there for 7 months, and my family was living here. And so I was flying back and forth. They were flying back and forth. That didn't work and put a kind of a bad taste in the back of my mouth. But if I was here with one of the half teams in Arizona or in the big leagues, that's a whole different monster.
Couple of more questions, if you don't mind. T-Road asks, having different catches, how do you build the chemistry? Does the catcher take charge, or does the pitcher take charge? Or is it because of the fact that, let's say you're a Greg Maddux or a Tom Seaver of sort? How does that work? You say, hey, I want Jose Posada. I don't want Joe Girardi. Do you have the pickings of that?
Until you are a A1 stud, until you're the dude, you really have no say in that ever at all. And if you went in and you can joke around and like a lot of times, like you might joke with the pitching coach or joke with the staff, like, oh, hey, like, man, like I love throwing to so-and-so. I love pitching to like Molina. I love it. Okay, cool. Like they'll listen to that, maybe try to figure that out a little bit, but usually you have no say. You have absolutely no say as a pitcher who you're throwing to. It's the starting catcher is the starting catcher. And so your job as a pitcher, well, a lot of times starting catchers are type A personality. Like they're a team guy, but they are like they're in your face and their energy, and they are like, all right, we're going to make this work. Tell me about your stuff. And like, tell me, how do I, and then you sit down and go, all right. And you tell them your stuff, what you're thinking, how you see the ball moving, how you want to pitch guys in general. Like I always let guys know, like, dude, I'm a fastball up guy. I love fastball up in the zone. If I can get ahead, then I'll go to a slider or a split, depending on righty or lefty or the feel of it that day. But like, if you see the slider spinning this way, just know like I probably don't have it that day. Let's stay away from it. But if you are wanting it, like show me that you really want it and you trust it. And so a lot of times, like a lot of things that you talk to a catcher about is your signs. Now you don't have to do that anymore. So that kind of takes away some of that communication. Because you just have to like figure out like a runner on second base, what sign do you do? Do you like, sign after, strikes +1, outs +1, balls +1, or, I always like to do last sign. Like, so like the very last sign you give was the actual sign. And when the guy's usually turns his head, that's when they just give a little sign. So a lot of that communication though happens, like the catcher's usually very upfront, but the catcher's also very busy. So I always tell everybody as a pitcher, your job is to go grab that catcher first time throwing to him and grab him and tell him exactly what you do and how you do it. Because a lot of times like pitchers are worried about pitching stuff and you kind of don't go and just grab a catcher because they're always busy. They're either hitting or catching. Like that is nonstop 24/7. So you as a pitcher, it's your job to go grab a catcher and tell them like your stuff. But catchers are usually like that type A, like go get them attitude. Like they're always the captains of the team for a reason, because they're the guy that's always like in your face. Like, yeah, let's do this. Let's do that, do this. And their energy. So 99% of the time, the catcher usually gets you first. But it's your pitcher. As a pitcher, it's your responsibility to have a great camaraderie with the catcher, to build that and to figure that out. It's not up to the catcher. It's up to the pitcher, because there's one catcher, two catchers, and there's 15 pitchers. So it's up to the pitcher's job to grab the catcher and say, let's make this work. Let's get on the same page. If something's not right, you got to get on the same page, because they can make your life like miserable.
Oh yeah, and you know what? It's like one of our chat people, is saying basically a lot of the players, they're caring about the family and everything. But is there any real caring for the fans? Because, moving around, the prices are going through the roof. And like, who can really, I mean, you have like 8 different outlets streaming wise to get. And, they can only do so much, especially senior citizens. So, I mean, do the players worry at all? Or is it just about, I mean, again, it's a hard question in my opinion, but one that they really would like to ask. And do the players think of the fans at all? In your opinion?
As a player, this is how players think of fans, and this is how most players think of fans. Our job is to put an incredible like product on the field for you, make you come to the ballpark and have a great day. That was the way I looked at it. Like, I don't know who might be here, and this might be their first game ever. This might be their last game ever. I'm going to try to make it as enjoyable as possible. I'm going to try to sign autographs. I'm going to give you a smile, have fun. If I'm wearing a Boston Red Sox jersey, I'm at Yankee Stadium and somebody's giving me a hard time, I'm going to try to give a hard time, but make everybody kind of laugh about it and have a great time with it. I always respected Mike Timlin being so good that in Yankee Stadium, I'm never in the heart of the rivalry, got Yankee fans to boot another Yankee fan out. Like it was magic. It was magic. So, but my job is there. I'm an entertainer. It's a sport. It's to give you a show and to be good at it. So a lot of times I go like, my job is to do that. I don't control Major League Baseball. I don't control Brian Cashman and how he sets the Yankees up and prices. Like, I can't control that, and I'll never control it. I don't think of the fans in that regard because I can't. I'm fighting a battle that's just there's nothing to win on that.
Right.
And you kind of forget about your actual job, which is the entertainer. The entertainer, it's the show. Now, off the field, I'm a Yankee, no matter what I am. I'm a Mariner. So like, if I see someone who's a Mariner fan, I am the biggest. Like, I am right up in there. Like, love it, man. I was a Mariner or whatever. Like, if you're a Yankee fan and I see you on the street and you recognize me, dude, like, I'm gonna sit there and take a moment and make that time special, no matter who I was. I'm not Mariano Rivera. I get it, but I was a Yankee, and so to somebody that means something, and so I try to embrace that, no matter what 14 teams. I was also a Marlin, so like if I ever come across a Marlin fan who cares that I played for the Marlins in some way, I'll I'll make that special for them. That's the way I look at it, and that's the way a lot of players look at it. Is like my job's the entertainment. I don't control that stuff, and we can't control that stuff.
Right. And it's, see, years ago.
I'll also say this. I do
together.
want, before I forget, I don't mean to cut you off, but technically I do mean to cut you off.
No, not at all.
I hate that we're on 10 different streaming services and 10 different platforms. I absolutely hate it. I think Major League Baseball is losing sight of just simplicity for the idea of like, well, yeah, like YouTube's going to pay X amount of money, and Apple TV is going to pay Y amount of money, and Fox, and I got NBC who might be getting back into it, and I got CBS Game of the Week or something, like whatever. There's a million different ways, and I can stream on here, stream on that, stream on this. Like X is going to do this, and YouTube's going to do that. We lose sight on simplicity, like even with, especially, like, I just want to turn on my phone or turn on my TV and watch a game, man. That's it. I don't want to have to buy 5 different things to see one.
Right.
To like, oh, like on Tuesday night I have to own this. On Thursday night I have to own that. On Sunday night I have to own this. Just give me one. Like if I could, like, and I think that's where Major League Baseball and the other sports are also missing it. Is we're going to all these different places. Well, guess what? Like if it's on Paramount, I ain't paying for Paramount because Major League Baseball's on there. I'm not paying for this just YouTube because a game's on there. I'm not going to pay for it because of that. Some people will, but their line is they're not going to pay for ESPN, or I'm willing to pay for DirecTV. If it's not on there, I'm not watching it. Just pick one lane and just go for it.
Yeah, no, and I agree. And the other thing that's sad is Yankee opening day isn't even on. Yankee opening day is on Netflix.
No.
And I think that to a local fan, at least simulcast it on a local station. Work something out, because there are people that just can't afford Netflix and Peacock and Amazon and this one and that one. And, and I'll tell you, they make it better for somebody like us that they can, if they're not watching the game, instead of listening to the radio, we call games. We do the games. Okay, we're not showing the replays and things like that, but we can make it where, it's very successful. They've opened up another platform where people could actually, turn back the clock and make believe they're watching us on radio. They're listening to us on radio. And it's a cool thing. As a matter of fact, like tonight, we're doing the play-by-play of the Philadelphia Eagle game.
That's cool.
So, I mean, yeah, and it's just like, and we do baseball games. As a matter of fact, now that, of course, you're part of our family now, that's great. And when we start baseball, we would love to have you come on and analyze. So you want to do play-by-play, you're more than welcome. That would be a lot of fun.
I love that stuff.
We've had Jason Michaels from the Phillies. If you remember, he played. He was left fielder. So he's come on some games, and a few others have been analysts, and also it's been great. So I mean, we would love to, especially you sort of liking the Yankees, and that's a good thing. So when we have a Yankee game, Yankees Red Sox, I think you'd enjoy it. I think you'll be the David Cohn of the NYYANKEE Mania channel.
That'd be fun. I actually did. I was the analyst for. I do it every year for a college baseball series down here in Arizona. So I get like 8 games in every spring training or every spring training time. I love it.
Well, definitely, we're definitely gonna be knocking on your door, because if you feel like if you'd like to do that, first of all, I definitely want you to come back, and we'll talk about the start of the season. We're going to break down all the clubs. We're going to do, quite a bit here. And so we're not only just Yankees. We do a lot. We do a basketball show. We do some football games. We actually do entertainment. We have some really cool Christmas stuff coming up. So there's we do a little diversification of everything, and that's what I started this idea actually late March when the Yankees first opened, and it was something that all of a sudden, just little by little, by just getting out there, and you make your mistakes, but you keep going and going. Then I met somebody like Nitin, who's been he's been tremendous. And by the way, he would have come up, but he's doing a pre-interview right now, so he apologizes.
Oh, no problem.
And he wanted me to tell you that. Please make sure, of course, and he's been great. I mean, actually, on Friday, we're going to have Andrew Jones on.
Oh, that's awesome.
So,
He'll be a Hall of Famer.
Yes,
100%.
We hope so. Yeah, he should be.
God.
And what so that's something. And we've had Clint Hurdle on. We've had we've had quite a bit. Tom Gordon has been on, and that's 99% of that is all Nitin and his crew. And I'm very happy that he brought you to us. And I want you to stick around when you can. I really appreciate that.
No, I appreciate this. This is a lot of fun. So, no, it's awesome. And I love seeing all the questions. I've been every now and then going through and seeing everyone on the side. The participation is really neat. Yeah.
And like last night, we started the winter meetings. We're going wall to wall with coverage. We stay on as much as we could. If there's breaking news, we're going to be there. So, but yeah, we would love it if we could give you a holler, and if you're available, we'd love to have you.
No, absolutely.
Awesome. We really appreciate it. And first of all, if in case we don't talk, between us, our chat, our family here, we want to wish you, your family, a very, very, very Merry Christmas. And Happy New Year and Hanukkah, and anybody that whatever's associated with your family, a safe one and a healthy one. And hopefully we'll talk to you even before the new year.
Absolutely. No, this is awesome. And thank you. And appreciate it. Everybody a part of this. This is great. Happy holidays to everybody.
Yes. And I appreciate it. And I really hope that, you take us up on the offer and you come on and we'll have some fun together with the games and what's going on, and hopefully there's no stoppage, and we can talk about everything. And my greatest thing is Yankees win the World Series in 2026. Then if there's got to be a lockout, at least we can enjoy it until they come back.
Enjoy it for longer.
Yeah, exactly. So, but thank you, David. I really, really appreciate it. You've been you're a real champion to us and to the fans, and we appreciate you.
Thank you, and I hope everybody got to see it, man. I loved my time with the Yankees. I loved playing Major League Baseball, and
yeah, we wanted to see more of you. And if you feel good, come back to us. We could use another reliever.
I would say this: I had a hip replacement in April.
You're too young.
That was part of that injury I had before the Yankees signed me. Like it was a really major hip surgery, and then they told me about 14, 15 years you're gonna have to have a replacement. It's like 14 on the dot, and then I was throwing the other day with a guy, and I just started feeling really good. I got up to 85, and it was the first time I'd thrown in a long time. Right before the hip surgery, like a couple months, I hit 92, and so not bad for a 43-year-old.
What are you, Nolan Ryan number 2? Nolan Ryan at 73, he's throwing 89 miles an hour, for God's sake. Unbelievable.
Insane.
Yeah, that's great. But yeah, no, we thank you so much, and we really look forward to you coming back.
Thank you.
Thank you so much. Again, happy holidays to you, your wife, the family, friends, and everybody associated with your family. Have a good one.
Absolutely. You too.
Take care. Thank you. And that was David. That's everyone. I hope everybody enjoyed it. There were some tough questions over here, guys, that I would not put him on a spot like that. The greed and all of that. I'm sorry. I am not going to pose a question like that. It's too telling. You're putting the guy too much on the spot. He's got a job to do. He's got a livelihood. He's retired. So understand why I tried to go around a couple of the questions, guys, but you got to understand. I can't just, come out and say, oh, we think you're greedy. I would never do that, guys. So I'm sorry. I hope you don't get offended. I did see the questions, but when I feel it's putting the guy too much on the spot, maybe somebody else will ask that question, but not me. And I apologize. And I do appreciate, what you're thinking and all, but that's just the way it is. Sports is big money, big money. And if you can't just see that with sports, look at WWE and entertainment, the money that they bring in, the money they can charge for a ringside seat, thousands of dollars, and they get it. They get it. Well, anyway, again, thanks everybody for, being here. Now, let me address a couple of things. So later on today, as you know, we will be having the Eagles game with Evan doing it. Ahmad Snyder, Mania Snyder will be coming on as an analyst at halftime and then do the rest of the game with him. In the meantime, if there's any Yankee movement, don't worry, you will know. If there's any Yankee trades, any Yankee news before that, we will come on. I will do a short, and then we'll come on here with as many co-hosts as we can. Otherwise, right after the football game, we're going to stay on that link, and we're going to have a Yankee winter meeting update live. So whatever that time that is, guys, I know it might be a little bit too late, but we will be, and you can answer questions because I will be in the background, and I will see everybody's questions. If something comes up or something you want answered, I will do it as quickly as I possibly can. So again, if there's news, it'll be before the we'll go on again before the football game at 8:00. If not, the minute the football game is over, we go into Yankee winter meeting mode. So hang in there, everyone. I will be putting out a short or two to keep you updated. Mike Soroka has signed with the Arizona Diamondbacks today. If he's healthy, that's a very good move for them. He's only 28 years old. He's had some injuries, but he can pitch. He pitched very well lots of times for the Atlanta Braves. There's all sorts of rumors going around, but until we have something concrete, guys, I am not going to be the one to bring out any fake news. Anybody in the chat, you want to talk about trades, that's fine. But things that I know and we're hearing, until we get more concrete evidence, I'm not gonna be the one to say, oh, Joe on Mania, he's saying the Yankees are getting Babe Ruth and this and that. Lou Gehrig, it ain't happening. We're not going to do that. But you will see a lot of us. And also, we just added a show Wednesday night, 7 p.m. with Howie Carpin, sports reporter, Sirius Radio, formerly of WCBS News Radio 88 here in New York City. And he does a lot. He's reported on a lot of Yankee stuff. And he's written books, and he's been on with us before. And also, I've worked with him on the radio years back. So we're looking forward to Howie coming on Wednesday night at 7 p.m. So with that in mind, everyone, thank you again for joining. We will be in touch soon. Look for my shorts. I have a couple of them out right now. Take a look. Press the like button. You want to talk about it, you're more than welcome. We'd love to hear from you. Please subscribe to our channel. A lot more is happening. A lot more is coming your way on the winter meeting. So we will take a little break, guys. Thank you so much. God bless you all. God bless America. Let's go, Yankees. Let's get some signings. Let's get some trades going. And we will come and see you very soon. Thanks, everyone. We love you. And please subscribe to the channel. Good day, everyone. We'll see you in a little while.